Hi, so I'm John Pritchard. I'm Chief Product Officer at RadiantLogic. We could be best described as a middleware player in the identity market. Most organizations that have been around for a long time, are mature, are quite large and complex, have a series of technologies they've invested in for things like identity and cybersecurity. And what's interesting is that every one of these systems is effectively like a rule engine or a decision-making point. And what's common about all of them is they all need data to make that decision upon. So if you work in an enterprise, think about how you do single sign-on, or when you join the company, how they provision your access to systems, or if you're trying to access certain types of data. All of those have some type of a policy engine that's evaluating a set of things, and often that's data elements. And for most organizations, that data isn't in one place. It lives in Active Directories, LDAP deployments, custom databases. And what a lot of organizations sort of suffer through is the fact that I don't have authoritative data that's being presented to these decision-making systems. That's super risky. As you think about, as I grow and scale, I've got systems that are probably being used to validate, authenticate, and authorize people, and I want to ensure that the data they're using to make that decision is appropriate and probably more importantly coming from one source. So we do two things. We focus on simplifying the complexity of all that distributed data by connecting to those systems and allowing you to describe a single profile for humans and non-humans as a single place. So you create this single source of truth for identity data. And then there's a set of analytics that we allow you to run on that data to determine where you've got different types of risk. I just gave a talk earlier today on what kind of that risk might look like. But not surprisingly, you have these systems with data that describe your people, and those systems don't always match. And if you're very large and that data is very distributed, it's very difficult to find maybe the elements that are unknown or out of sync, or perhaps that were done years ago that haven't been governed in a long time. So we use a set of statistical data science techniques on running types of analysis. We're doing some very interesting work most recently, as I talked about earlier today, on the marriage of sort of machine learning, deterministic models, and generative AI for conversational state to walk organizations through that type of risk discovery and risk analysis. It's a pretty cool time in the industry right now, I think, from an identity and cybersecurity perspective. On the one hand, there's a lot of innovation happening in the market, so it's allowing us to create really first-of-a-kind capabilities. The other sort of unfortunate thing is the threat environment is still pretty bad. And you see that happen all the time, even from some of the biggest brands, even companies that do cybersecurity themselves. So I think a lot of organizations are grappling with how do I manage complexity, how do I leverage tooling around analytics to find insights into what I need to do and focus on in my organization. And we're planning to play that middleware player within that space, basically helping you put your identity to work.